Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to another aesthetic imaging video tutorial. Today we're going to be going over how to create this neon sign right here. It's a pretty complex thing. It's got a lot of different parts to it. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're going to start off by creating a new comp. We can click on this little icon right here, and we're going to call this main comp. All right, and I'm going to set this to 1280 by 720. 23.97 frames per second is fine. 10 seconds is fine for the duration, and just click OK. All right, so first thing we're going to get to is our text. So we're just going to right click, click New, and then go down over to Text. So now we're going to type in Open. And the font we're going to be using is Neon Lights. All right, we're going to bump that up a bit. So we're going to thicken it up a bit by pressing this faux bold, because there isn't a bold option over here. All right, we're just going to make this bigger, turn down the kerning. All right, so we're going to go to Align and just make sure that's in the center there. All right, so now if we look at our text here, it's not looking too great here. It's got little jagged edges coming out here. It's not that great of a font, but we can make it better. So what we want to do is round these edges off. So we can go over to Effects and Presets, type in Fast Box Blur. Fast Box Blur right here. Add it onto our text. Bump it up a bunch. All right, and then what we're going to add is a levels adjustment. And it's under Color Correction Levels. Put that on top. We're going to switch it to Alpha. And we're going to crunch it in. You can already see what it's starting to do. One thing to note about this is as we bring in our black point, input black, if you bring these too close together, you'll start to get that jagged edges, and we don't want that. So we just kind of leave a little bit of gap. As you notice here, as you bring in your input white, it actually gets thicker. You want to get it as thick as possible, but you don't want it to start blending, like right in here. That's a little too much. Just a little. So we kind of bring it in so it looks like that. That looks fine. And I actually want to make this a little bigger. Go align, make sure it's aligned still. It was not. All right, so that's our text. Now we want to create the outer border of this. So we're going to go over here to Ellipse tool. I think by default it's rectangle, but you want to go down, we want to click on it and hold it down and then bring it over to Rounded Rectangle tool. And we can actually double click it on it. First, make sure that your layers, no other layers are selected. Otherwise, you'll be creating a mask. So if we double click on it, you can see we got a mask. We don't want that. Undo a bunch of times till we get there. All right, so we want to click off of our text and double click on that. And that fills the whole thing. We want to go up to Fill and hit hit on this to hit none. Hit OK. Turn up the stroke a bit. Now under our shape layer, under Contents, Rectangle, we can go to Rectangle Path 1. And we just shrink it down. Like so. And then we can uncheck this chain here. And we can bring it down on the Y. And then what we can also do is change the roundness of the edges here. Let's bring it up. That looks fine. Turn down the stroke width a bit. For the color, kind of want to make it like a little bit above medium gray here. And then we want to do the same for the text. Go under character. Click on that. We can actually do the eyedropper tool. Make it the same as the outer border. And there we go. So now what we're going to do is pre-compose both of these layers. Click on the open, and we're going to right click and go down to pre-compose. You can also, keyboard shortcut is Shift Command C. And we're going to call this text holder PC. Text good. Okay, text holder PC. And then we're going to go up to our shape layer here. We're going to do the same thing. Shift Command C. And we're going to call this outline holder. Man, this is really difficult. The way I have the microphone set up is it's right in front of my face and I can't see or even reach the keyboard that well. So I type like a chimpanzee over here. All right. Go over to project, text holder, outline holder. We're going to hit enter here. Go to the end and then type in PC. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. It's not going to be a problem. Don't worry about it. So now we have our text holder and our outline holder. They're pre-comped. So what we're going to do is duplicate both of them. And I did that by hitting Command D. All right, so we're going to take our bottom text, hit our toggle switches and modes, and set the track matte to alpha matte. We're going to do the same thing on the outline holder. Set the track matte to alpha matte. Alpha matte outline, PC. It's always the layer above it. So on our bottom text, we're going to type in fast box blur. And add it there. And we're going to bump it up. So we're going to do the same thing for our outline holder pre-comp. There we go. And what did I do? 6. So we're going to type in 6. Keep it the same. Nice thing about this is the way we're doing this is it's procedural. Say you wanted to change the roundness of your rectangle here. You can go to Contents, Rectangle 1, go to Rectangle Path, and you can change the roundness, and it will automatically update. And same thing with the text, you could just change what the text says. Neon. See? I love this kind of workflow. That's a pretty neat little thing that I like doing too. locking the composition you want to stay on, and then opening up another comp, and then you just take that, bring it over to this side over here. Now you have them side by side. So you can work on this and see what it looks like, say, in your main comp. That's another tip there.
Quick tips.
All right, so we're back at our main comp here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pre-compose our text holders and our outline holders separately. So we're going to click on both of the text holders, hit Shift, Command C to pre-comp it, and we're going to call this text holder. All right, we're going to do the same for the outlines. Select the two outlines, Shift Command C, pre-comp, and we'll call this outline holder. Now we're going to pre-compose both of these layers together. Shift Command C, pre-compose, and we'll call this one sign holder. There we go. Now we're going to go back into our sign holder comp, double click on it, and we're going to select the text holder. We're going to hit T on the keyboard to bring up the opacity, and we're going to alt click on the stopwatch. And we're going to type in wiggle parentheses, and we're going to put in two numbers here. The first number is the time, so we're going to do 14, comma, and the second one is the amount, so we'll do like 20. And make sure you have a closed parentheses, click outside of it. And we're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing for the outline. So hit T, bring up the opacity, alt click, type in wiggle, parentheses, and this one's going to be a little bit different. You can have them the same, but I like to randomize. So we're going to do 12 for this one at 25. So 12 times a second is going to go between 75 and 100. And now we have our flickering. All right, so the next thing we want to do is add color. So we're going to go over to our effects and presets and type in VC color vibrance. Right here, it's under Video Copilot. It's a plugin made by Video Copilot. It's actually 100% free. I like using it for stuff like, lighting, coloring lighting and stuff like that. We're going to set this to red. We're going to put it under our text holder. Then we're going to take another one and put it on top of the outline holder, and we're going to change the color to blue. All right, so now we have our sign holder all set up. And one thing I like to do here, and this is going to introduce a new segment called
Pro tips. Quick tips. All the tips. Just the tips.
All right, so you notice in this original comp that we showed here, there's a layer called controls. Now this is just a null object, and it actually has two effects on it. I'll show you what it does, but first let's show you how to put this together. So we're going to right click, new, and we're going to add, you can add anything, really. We're going to add a null object, and we're going to take our VC color vibrance, and we're going to take that and hit Command D to duplicate it. So we have two now. The first one, we're going to click on it and hit enter on the keyboard to change the name to text color. Then we're going to take the second one, hit enter, and we're going to call this outline color. So what we're going to do now here is this little lock right here. We're going to click on it. We're going to go into our sign holder, and we're going to hit E on the keyboard under text and outline holders, and you'll see we have color vibrance. We're going to open them up. What we're going to do here is we're going to alt-click on the color. And this is the outline. So we're going to pick whip it to the outline color on our null. Click out of it. Now we're going to do the same for the text holder. Alt-click on the color, stopwatch, take the pick whip, and attach it to the color of the text color. Now we just made an expression, and well, these expressions are pretty simple when you break them down. So this first part right here, it's telling this effect right here, it's telling the color to read from a comp called main comp, which is this one over here. And on that main comp, there will be a layer called null3. And in that null, there'll be an effect called text color. And we want to look at the color of that effect. So basically this is connecting to here. Now what does that do? As you can see, it's green. So we go to outline, change it to blue, and take the text, change it to red. So what we've done here is we've added little controls to affect the color without having to go back into here, which is pretty nifty. And that has been... All right. So from here, where we can go is endless. So let's make sure that we hit that lock again to unlock it so that we can get into other layers as effects controls. And all right. So what we want to do now is if I turn off or turn on transparency map, you can see that we can see through our sign. That's not what we want. So what we do here is if we go into our project, click on our sign holder, and we can duplicate that. Command D. Now we're going to click on that and hit enter, and we're going to call this sign mat. So we're going to take our sign mat and we're going to drag it below our sign holder. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to right click, go to new solid, and we're going to create a black solid. And we're going to put that below our sign mat. So on this black solid, we'll call it sign background. So on here, we are going to go over to effects and presets and put on set mat. So it's under channel, set mat. We're going to put that on sign background. So we're going to go over here, take matte layer from sign mat. Now if I turn off our sign holder, actually turn off the sign mat too, we can see that our black background is now in the shape of our sign. But as you can see, we can still see through it. So we're going to take our sign mat and we're going to add a curves adjustment. And we're going to go back into our sign background, and next to the matte layer, we're going to click on that, bring it down to effects and masks. So we want to go to our alpha channel and bump that up just until we get rid of the transparency. And what we also might want to add here is an effect called Minimax. It's under Channel Minimax. We're going to make sure this is set to maximum. The channel to alpha and color. And we could just bump this up like 1 or 2, just like that. And actually, I want to do that to our text and outline. So we're going to go to our text holder PC. And we're going to add Minimax to it. Maximum, alpha, and color. And we're just going to bump this up, make it as thick as possible. And then make sure you don't, clip here. So that's as far as we can go anymore. And we're intersecting here. And if we go into our outline holder, PC, what we can do there is just adjust the stroke thickness. Now if we come back into our main comp, boom, everything is updated. See that? Procedural. Okay, so now we have that going on. And as you can see, if we turn that back on, we have a little bit of an outline, a bit of a backing. All right, next we want to add the specular to make it look more like it's in a tube. So we're going to right click, go to New, Solid, make another black solid. We'll call this one glass tubing. Hit OK. And we're going to add CC glass. CC glass. Add that right to our glass tubing. And under surface, we're going to select Sign Matte. We're going to leave this on source. Turn down the softness. Turn down the displacement to 0. And under shading, we're going to zero out the ambient, the diffuse, turn up the specular, and turn the metal down. So now you see we're starting to get a little specular highlight. You can adjust the height of everything here. Now we're going to go into the light section and we're going to put AE lights. So that means now we have to create some lights here. So we're going to go to Layer, New, Light. And we got a point light. You can make it whatever color you want. I'm going to leave it white for now. Hit OK. And we can bring this over. Adjust it kind of wherever you want it to be. So we have that. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate the light, Command D, bring it over to the other side. Now, if you notice, we're able to see the lights here. We don't want that. So we're going to go to our glass tubing, set the blend mode to add. All right, but you'll notice that we can still see our light here. So what we're going to do after this is we're going to go and create another set matte. Channel, set matte. And we're going to set this to Sign Matte, Alpha Channel, and we're going to set it to Effects and Masks. All right, so that's the glass tubing part. Now what I want to do is dirty up the glass. So we're going to go up to Assets. Over here in Images, I have a file called Smudges, Variation 1, 3K. This is from Polygon, and it's actually free to download. I'll put a link in the description so you can follow along. So we're going to add this above our point lights. And we're going to hit S on the keyboard to scale it down. We're going to bring it just so it's covering our sign. All right, so under Effects and Presets, we're going to put a Curves adjustment on top of our smudges. And we just kind of want to darken it a bit. Kind of like that. And then what we're going to do is Shift Command C, pre-compose it. Make sure that Move All Attributes into New Composition is checked off there. And we're going to call this Dirt. So now we want to set this to multiply, which is up here. Now you notice it doesn't look that great. It's kind of everywhere. So what we're going to do is add a set matte. We're going to set this to, you guessed it, Sign Matte, Effects and Masks. And there we go. Now it's only visible where our sign is visible. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, so real quick, I want to change something. So we want to go into our Sign Matte. And this one still has our wiggle expression. So we want to get rid of that. Only in the sign holder matte or sign matte. So if we go in our sign holder, hit double tap U on the keyboard, you can see it's still there. So that's why we had to duplicate our sign holder first in our project settings so that we could make changes within that. So we're going to do the same thing for our sign holder again. We're going to select that in the project. We're going to duplicate this. And this time we're going to call it Sign Glow. Hit enter. And we can drag it down. Let's say you can do it above the glass holder here. Now we'll move it down below it, right above the sign holder. All right, we're going to go into it. And we're going to leave the wiggle on. But we're going to add a new adjustment layer. And on this adjustment layer, we're going to type in Glow under Effects and Presets. And it is under Stylize Glow. Add that to the adjustment layer. We're going to turn this down to about 12. Turn up the glow radius to about 20. And turn down the glow intensity to 0.1. We'll try. Still think that's a little too bright. 0.05. That's fine. Then we can take our glow, duplicate it, and bump up the radius. Maybe turn down the glow threshold. Yeah, something like that. So go back in our Assign Glow, and we're going to create a new solid, and it's going to be a black solid. So we'll call this background. Hit OK. So we can actually move this to the bottom by hitting Shift Command open bracket, and go into our main comp, and we can change this to screen. All right, so now we want to create a solid black background, and we'll call this background. Shift Command open bracket to bring it to the bottom. And under Sign Glow, I'm going to turn this up, but turn up the glow intensity. All right, so now we have our sign glow, and that's basically it. If you want, you can add a background here. I have a cinder block texture that I have here. You can scale it down if you want. And then what we can do is add like a curves. Bring down the texture to like that, maybe. Maybe change the color, go into the red channel. Turn that down. Go into the blue channel. Turn that up a bit, not too much. All right, so now we get into the making it flicker on. So for that, let's just close all these here. We want to go into our sign holder. Select both these layers here. Hit T to bring up the opacity. And let's say at like we'll do here. So outline, click on the stopwatch, set it at 100. Go to about 1 second. Click on the opacity and turn it to 0. There we go. And we're actually going to move that over. And then here we'll click on the opacity for the text holder. Move that over there. Turn that to 0. Now we have this. So what we can do is select this opacity, Command C, copy it. We just copy it over to our glow. Then sign holder, click on the opacity, Command C to copy, and just paste it to that. And remember to turn off your sign matte. So now, even when the effect is turned off, or our sign is turned off, we still have our sign here. So there we go. And what we can do is add another adjustment layer. Type in glow. Stylize glow. Add that on there. Just bump up the radius. Turn down the intensity to 0.05. And that just gives it an overall glow. So another thing I did here is what you can do, a little extra, is take our pen tool, click over here. Oh, nope. Remember what we said at the beginning. Make sure none of your layers are selected. Click here. Shift, click on the other side. Change the stroke color to be like a dark color. Maybe turn down the stroke width. All right. So now what we can do is just move this below the sign background. And we can duplicate it. Hit V on the keyboard to bring up the move tool. Click on it, hold down Shift, bring it down to about the center. And then we can duplicate it again, Command D. Same thing. Bring that down. There we go. So there we have it, our neon sign, complete with flickering and turning on. We've got our glows going on. Feel free to go through and mess with any of the settings to get the look that you wanted. All right, so thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned a lot. Hopefully all that information was useful too. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time.